Everybody, it's a beautiful day here in Regina, and just like everybody else that decides that they want to waste time, bandwidth, I thought I would have a good enough reason to do so because it's near my anniversary date with my data, and I have an awful lot of data I need to burn up, and this seems like a good enough reason as any to do so. And now that it seems to be socially normalized for people to talk to themselves with something in front of their face because everybody seems to want attention, I didn't see any reason why I couldn't also spew nonsense all over the internet, because it does seem to be a national pastime. Also seems like a very good reason to test the integrity of my data plan as we do more of these as we film Go Nitro. So today I wanted to talk about something which is probably going to be an unpopular take, but I'm going to say it anyway. Spin classes are the most idiotic thing in the world. I mean, first of all, we'll go into some of the health issues with it a little later on. But I think to start with, I'll move to the other hand. My other hand's pretty good. Okay, so the reason why spin classes are absolutely as dumb as they are is simply because, well, first of all, the concept. You don't need, maybe it would help if I was actually, high enough so that you could see my face. Yeah, that would help. Spin classes are the dumbest thing in the world because, first of all, the idea of like 10, 15, 20, 30 people basically on a stationary bicycle in a room paying, $30 or $40 or whatever the hell it is a month to have some idiot yelling at you to go faster, you could do it, absolutely, you could do it, go faster, go faster. It looks about as stupid in concept as it does me in public in Regina holding a camera in front of me, or my iPhone I should say, while somebody goes, okay, there's another idiot influencer. And so, just from that point of view, the cardio, in fairness, I'm not going to necessarily deny the fact that some people really could use, some people need that motivation. Just like for martial arts, sometimes people need that in order to do warm-ups. And I'm not denying that. That's not what I think is stupid. What I do think is stupid is the concept of spending, $30, $40 a month to be on a stationary bicycle while some idiot yells motivating phrases at you or demotivating phrases at you depending on the culture of the spin gym that you're in. So, I mean, honestly, it's a dumb idea and it's a dumb concept, and it's a fad. To me, you know what? To me, it's just sort of the equivalent of basically Tae Bo in the 90s or whatever. The idea of people spending ridiculous amounts of money to have somebody yell at you is a bit silly. So, yeah. So I think that the money that you spend on those sorts of things is better spent on something constructive, like martial arts, jiu-jitsu, aikido, things that provide you with some awareness, some self-defense capabilities. I say this while I'm walking along doing this live stream, and the police are actually across the street. Obviously in martial arts I train with a lot of law enforcement personnel, and these are things that help you kind of regain control of a situation in a safe way. If you're going to spend that kind of money on cardio, get yourself a gym membership here in Regina. Go to the Lawson, right? Best deal in town, city. You'll spend, a lot less on that a month, and you have access to an amazing pool, and you have access to all the weights. And to me, that is a better use of time, in my opinion. That's a better use of time. Now, other than the clickbait title that I've used to sort of talk about this in terms of spin cycling being really stupid, the other thing I don't like about it is you don't need really any background to do, which is fine. I mean, you don't need to necessarily have a background with some of these things, but with some of the stuff, it can get unsafe. So some of these spin cycle programs, they will turn around and they'll have, do these kind of weightlifting motions on the bike and doing fairly unsafe things on a bicycle, right? It should be cardio. You don't want to be doing certain motions and trying to lift yourself while you're on a bicycle. It's not safe. It increases the possibility for injury. Now, I'm not going to say that all places are like that, but I have seen a lot of cases whereby, you'll go to a cycling place, like a spin cycle club, and they will have various other so-called exercises that they will add. Many of these are unsafe and will increase, and in some cases damn near guarantee, your chances of injury. I would put this up with other sorts of things like CrossFit, where it's really going to depend what club you go to, right? There's very little oversight with a lot of these places, and it's really going to depend on how body aware your instructor is. So really where you are and how safe you are is going to be entirely dependent on your instructor. And so these kind of work of the day type things that you're going to run into, what you really don't want is you don't want a case whereby you are being asked to be pushed beyond your capacity. I don't necessarily mean pushed by your capacity by being taken out of your comfort zone. That is an important part of growth for martial arts, and in my view, that is a necessary that's a necessary part of development. What I'm talking about are things that are inherently, in and of themselves, unsafe. It's unsafe to, be on a bike and elevate yourself off of it and try and do motions that basically reduce your ability to stay on that bike in the name of, in the name of fitness. If you're going to do weights, then do weights. Do it properly, do it with a spotter, and do it with somebody that's, an expert in that particular area. Cycling is cardio. Cycling is cardio, and that's really, really all that it should be. All it should be is cardio, really. And also on the importance of injury. I don't know what happened there, but so the other thing that I want to talk about, and we do Go Nitro every week. It runs all over the US, so we have a responsibility to make sure that we're not showing people things that are unsafe. The other thing that I wanted to talk about in terms of just keeping safe, I sort of lost my train of thought there, is I think that it is extremely important to, when it comes to cycling and cardio, you really want to keep in mind where your body is, right? It's some places, if you go somewhere and they're not being mindful of your body's capabilities, you can get pretty badly hurt. And so I think a lot of these fad style exercises are a real problem. They're a real problem, and I think that this is something that, this is nothing new. I mean, we've seen all kinds of crazy fad trademark so-called fitness programs, and some of them have benefits, but I think a lot of them, I would say, they kind of rely too much on shaming, what I would consider to be unhealthy psychological behavior. Maybe somebody, first of all, if somebody is in a fitness facility of any kind, of any quality, they're there because they want to do something about, whatever they feel that they're lacking. So if you have somebody that has health problems and has weight problems to the point where it is affecting their ability to function safely, there's a reason why they're there. They don't need to be shamed, to get better performance. And a lot of these places, like these spin cycle places, they don't, honestly, they don't really take into account those sorts of things. And frankly, a lot of the instructors don't have the experience or the capability to really know what that is. So you get this kind of 1950s, 1960s style form of motivation, which can be dangerous. So let's say that you have somebody that has a very high BMI. Okay, they have a very high BMI, and they might not necessarily know that you have to work your cardio up to a certain point. This is something that they may not necessarily be aware of, right? So you have somebody that goes in, maybe they're a little older, and they want to keep up. They don't want to look like the person in class that can't keep up, and they push themselves too much, and then they have a heart attack or cardiac episode, or they pull something, or they get injured or whatever, which they would not have done had they been taught by somebody that had a better idea of how to kind of tailor something a little bit to somebody's individual fitness level without making them feel less than. And so that kind of psychological need to fit in, that's my gimbal's getting a little confused here. Ow. There we go. That's better. I don't like why this thing gets confused. There we go. That's better. Yeah, so in my view, I think that it's really important, it's extremely important for people to be mindful of this when they do this. And this is why I turn around and I say that spin cycle classes are stupid. They are generally, for the most part, taught by people that have no qualifications. They're not people that have a background in kinesiology and martial arts. They're not people that know what is considered safe and what is considered not safe. They are generally people that have enough money to get a franchise for whatever shop they're going to set up, and they look good in a tight shirt, and when somebody that doesn't know any better sees that, they figure, okay, well, this is going to give me motivation. You know what? I think if you want motivation and you want to do something that is health and fitness wise, then I think that a much more healthy way to go is, this is easy to make fun of too, but get a Peloton. If you're going to spend thousands of dollars a year on something cardio related, and you need somebody to motivate you or yell at you or whatever else it is that you want to do, get a Peloton. You can do it in the comfort of your own home. It's connected via the internet, and you have sort of a custom trainer, like that's in a class with other people. It's in the comfort of your own home. You're in a good place psychologically, and and it's and you also have stats and stuff that are connected to you. So if that's something that you need, you're probably better off getting a Peloton membership. I personally would not, but I think that is a much safer way to go. Watch going by all these cars and trucks and stuff, getting the typical millennial stares. Regina's, it's actually really nice today. This is a great time to be outside, actually. It's beautiful. And you got the park and everything up here, and my camera not acting right. I'm gonna go the other way. So, to be honest, I'm just also kind of using this to test how good my bandwidth is, because I have way too much bandwidth programs. There's enough people on YouTube talking to themselves. It's apparently now a status symbol of sorts. So, yeah. So, I don't know if I'd say in conclusion, because I have a few other things that I would like to say about it. Come on, camera. Come on, gimbal. Cooperate. Show my face. Okay. Yeah, so these are things, you know, screw it. Yeah, so I think basically it's important to stay safe, and I don't think that these spin classes are a good idea. I think that you know what, let me kind of rephrase that. I think that it is a good idea to get as much cardio as you can. Look, I mean, I'm doing a sports show. I'm a big believer in cardio. I'm a big believer in health, right? I used to be like 300 pounds and now I'm like 150 something. You know, health is important, but you want to make sure that you do so safely, and you want to make sure that you up basically your health and stuff incrementally to be safe. You know, if you want to bench press 200 pounds, you can do it, but if you're going to do that, do it safely, and you know, and as your body allows, right? You're going to build endurance over time. You're going to build endurance over time, and you know, and it's not something that really has to be. You don't have to really kill yourself over it. Really, you can take your time and work on it. But yeah, I'm repeating myself a bit here because this is also a little bit of a test. But the long and the short of it is that this thing doesn't want to cooperate. That's a major thing. Yeah, long and the short of it is, go out, walk, run, get a bike, do your cardio, get a Peloton if you must, but just be safe, and don't go to one of these spin places. It's dumb, and you know, don't waste your money. Don't waste your money. So that pretty much sums up all I have to say about it. So for all of you out there that are getting your exercise, which by the way I'm doing with a busted foot here. I got some turf toe, which is not a whole lot of fun. So yeah, stay safe, and don't go to spin cycle programs. They're stupid.